Day 10 of morning routines suck. And I was thinking about this. This is kind of like my own little version of a Rich Piana Better by the Day series because what I'm trying to do is become a morning person. And I'm not becoming this morning person by waking up super early. I'm doing this by waking up maybe a little bit earlier than I usually do. But the whole point is to maximize the time I have in the mornings. I do my work for life later in the day, so I'm getting up later anyway. And I've never been an early riser. I remember being a little kid and going on vacation, and my dad would stay up till like 2 or 3 o'clock in the morning every night and then wake up, I don't know, 11, 12, lunchtime, walk down to the pool, eat, go take a nap, and then get ready for dinner that night. And he was self-employed, but he still kept, like, banker's hours. But my point is, I think it's genetic. Dad was not a morning person. He was always best mentally later in the day. But I realized that, like, that's not how the world works. We've got to wake up and get after it. And that's like my Achilles heel. So I'm basing my morning routine on three things. When we wake up in the morning, we are chronically dehydrated. We don't have enough oxygen to our brain. So we're under oxygenated, and we got to get outside and get sunlight because that's going to signal the body to wake up. But we're going to tackle the hydration first. I got my handy dandy 16-ounce microplastic water bottle. 1/4 tablespoon of pink Himalayan salt because I can't afford those cool electrolyte packets. I'm always out of breath after I drink it because I'm drinking it fast. I'm trying to get it down. But then I realized that, man, whew, I need to take some deep breaths. A lot of old people who can't do physical activity any more than like walking in the mornings by taking deep breaths and controlling your breathing is actually a great way to drive oxygen into your body, fill the lungs with air, and then the oxygen will get to your brain. What I do with doing these push ups is I'm forcing blood flow all throughout my body. This blood flow will bring the oxygen, and the oxygen is what's going to bring us like the mental clarity. And again, it's not like an injection of caffeine or you just bam, you're awake and you're ready. But it really does help. And after 10 days of doing it, I can promise you that there is a significant difference. But I'm rambling again, delaying these push ups. Let's get it. Something that I talk a lot about is diet. And a lot of people do ask me what it is that I eat, or they'll ask me an opinion of a particular diet, probably carnivore now or keto more than anything. Follow the diet that you'll follow. And it really is that easy. Bro, I'm giving out of breath. The standard, the foundation of all diet is going to be the calorie. Calories in versus calories out. Calories are going to break down into protein, carbs, and fat. We call those macronutrients. But ultimately, calories are king. And no matter where you're getting these calories from, if you're taking in too many, you're going to gain weight. And if you're not working out, you're going to get fat. And if you're eating too few, you're going to lose weight. So I eat about, maintenance for me is about 2,500 calories. Now, how that breaks down, I try to get 200 grams of protein, 200 grams of fat, 200 grams of carbs, and 100 grams of fat. So 200 protein, 200 carbs, 100 fat. Let me show you how that equates to calories. For every 1 gram of protein, you have 4 calories. So if I'm eating 200 grams of protein, that's going to be 800 calories of my diet coming from protein, meat sources, protein shakes, milk, protein powder. Now, for carbohydrates, it's the same thing. For every 1 gram of carbohydrate, you have 4 calories. If I'm eating 200 grams of carbs, 200 times 4 is 800, same as the protein. So I've got 800 from protein calories, 800 calories from carbohydrates. 800 plus 800 is 1600. 1600 off of the 2500 is going to leave me with 900 calories left. Those 900 calories are devoted to fat. Now, for fat, every 1 gram of fat has 9 calories. So if you divide that 900 that I have left by 9, you get 100, which is perfect, 100 grams of fat. Now that's the diet that I use just for maintenance. I think we're calling it main gaining now, where I eat just enough in a caloric surplus to gain a little bit of weight. Now, if you need to lose weight, you need to reduce those calories. Now, you might ask, where do these calories that I reduce? Do I take them from the protein? Do I take it from the carbs? Do I take it from the fat? That's a great question. Most of the time, people want to maintain their protein level. The protein is what's going to build your muscle. It's going to help you repair the muscle tissue that you've broken down in the gym. Hang on just a second. My cat's going crazy. So, usually, we don't want to mess with our protein. Carbohydrate is generally considered the least important of the macronutrients. By least important, what I mean is it's not that it's not important. It gives us energy. That's the whole purpose of the carbohydrate. But protein is going to be king. And then our fat, we need a certain amount of fat in our diet for hormone production. Also, too, fat does actually help build a little bit of muscle, and it is used as a storage, energy storage as well. But overall, our fat is going to control our hormones. Our testosterone is made from saturated fat. Our dietary saturated fat is the precursor to making testosterone. So I'm not really big on going like super low fat. I'd rather play around with my carbohydrates. So that's where I would start. If I wanted to reduce what I was eating and eat in a caloric deficit, meaning less than my maintenance calories, I would start by taking away the carbs first. But if I wanted to gain weight, I would actually start with the carbs there as well. If I'm still eating the same amount of protein, then I would keep the protein the same and I would add in the carbohydrates. I got to mess with my cat again. So, for example, what I would do if I wanted to add in 300 extra calories a day on my 2,500 calorie diet in order to gain weight, build muscle, what I would do, and I've done this before, I would add the carbohydrate to my pre workout meal and I would go into my workout super carbed up so that I'd have extra energy. I would do this, I would go to the donut shop and eat like just a plain glazed donut, and that would give me enough calories to be put into a surplus, and those calories would be utilized, which is really important. Uh, they would be utilized towards my workout. And again, you don't have to be in a huge caloric surplus in order to gain weight. Now, when you're trying to lose weight, you might have to come off more calories in the deficit than you have to add if you're trying to gain weight. So I would start with like 500 calories off of my maintenance. Maybe you might could start with 3, but it's probably going to be more of like a 500 as a starting point to take away from your maintenance calories. And I would take those away from the carbohydrates. Where I would start if I was going to reduce carbs would be if you're eating them late at night when they're not necessarily best utilized. I would take them away there. I would try to, especially before your workout, pre-workout, I would leave those carbs alone. If you have to reduce carbs, leave those alone until you have to manipulate them. You want to keep plenty of carbs before the workout, plenty of carbs after the workout. So even for breakfast, I would recommend eating them. But if you need to take them away and breakfast is not your pre-workout meal, then maybe start there and take away some breakfast carbs. But before you work out and after you work out, that's kind of king. You want to leave those in for as long as possible. And then stay in this, if you're wanting to gain weight or lose weight, you need to stay on the program, I would say probably for at least a couple of weeks and see if this caloric surplus is helping you to gain or if your deficit is helping you to lose. If you're 3 to 4 weeks in and you're not seeing anything, maybe give it another week or two, but then you're going to have to either increase the calories if you want to gain the weight or decrease them if you want to lose the weight. If not, you're just going to be spinning your wheels, treading water, and not really accomplishing anything at all. But always remember this. Sometimes we get so caught up in our diets, we forget how important showing up to the gym actually is. And again, if you don't want to take away a lot of calories, what you can do is you can add in cardio. I do like 20 minutes a day of like light walking or elliptical or something. But if I, instead of reducing what I wanted to eat, if I wanted to go on like a cut or something from the 2500, I would do more cardio. I would add in the step master. I would add in an extra walk at night after I ate dinner. So again, you can add in exercise without removing calories, or sometimes you have to do both. And there's no perfect diet. This is a diet that works for me, and it's based off of like bodybuilding science and nutrition. A lot of people are coming into fitness not from that background, so they want to know about carnivore. And carnivore is great, but carnivore only works because you're eating less calories than your body needs. Intermittent fasting is great, but it only works because ultimately you're eating less calories than your body needs. So remember, calories are going to help you to control your overall body weight. But when you learn macro manipulation, this will help to control your body's composition.